What's up, YouTube? Boxing fans across the world. This is True Grit Boxing News. Checking in with another video. Man, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below so I can continue to bring you this exclusive boxing news on a daily basis. So today's topic, we're going to go into this highly stacked welterweight division and talk about one of the most anticipated fights in boxing, which is Errol the Truth Spence versus Terence Bud Crawford. So we can settle who is really pound for pound best in the sport. Terence Crawford is already ranked number 1 on my list. Canelo number 2, and then we got Spence coming in at number 3. So this fight, ultimately, the winner can really take heed to that first place position on the pound for pound rankings. So there have been a lot of speculations, a lot of talks going back and forth. These guys have been talking a little bit on Twitter. They've been talking a little bit across their social medias. And the talk is just talk. I'm hoping that we can get something signed on the dotted line very, 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 very soon. Errol the Truth Spence is on record stating that he does not want a tune-up fight next, that he wants to fight for belts. He does not need any type of confidence booster type of fights. He wants to get right in there with the best, which is Terence Crawford. He has also been on the record stating that he's ready and willing to take on Terence Bud Crawford next, but everything has to line up. Bud, on the other hand, he's been acting as if he wants to fight. He's been a little apprehensive because of things that have been said in the past. When Errol Spence said he doesn't go to Bud's fights, then he was at Terence and Sean Porter's fight. And he's also been on the record saying he's not really too much interested in fighting Bud and this, that, and the third. And then there's always this split difference, which is the main focal point of conversation. Errol the Truth Spence is the A side. Let's not get it twisted by any way, shape, or form. He brings out the crowd, he sells out arenas, and he does the highest pay-per-view numbers out of the two. Okay, so there's no question on who is actually the A side. Bud's ego is coming into play, and he doesn't feel like there should be a split. He wants the fight to be 50-50. Now, Errol has come out before saying he wants a 60-40 split, but I don't think that that's stamped or sketched in stone anywhere, that it has to be 60-40. It could be 55-45, somewhere along those lines. I don't believe that Errol's going to want to take a 50-50 type of split because, once again, he is the A-side fighter. He brings out more people to the fights. He sells more pay-per-views. I mean, this is just a fact. If you go back and look at their numbers, Errol Spence does over 300,000 pay-per-view buys every time he's on pay-per-view. Terence Bud Crawford has not jumped over 200,000 buys in any of his fights that have been on pay-per-view. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Also, Errol the Truth Spence is also the unified champion at welterweight. He has 2 belts instead of just 1. Okay, now, Terence Bud Crawford is a former undisputed champion at 140 pounds, at collecting all belts at the weight class and then moving up to 147. Terence Bud Crawford does have a very extensive, very good, deep resume. He has fought some of the greats at 140, and he has fought some good competition stepping up to 147. But all in all, Errol the Truth Spence is the cash cow. He is the A side when it comes to this fight. Now, if Terence can go in there and prove and beat Errol Spence, then we'll have a situation just like Floyd Mayweather had when he went up against De La Hoya. And he was the overwhelmingly B side in that fight. And after beating Oscar De La Hoya, he elevated himself to be the A side and remained the A side for the remainder of his career, making the most money ever after that fight. So Terence Bud Crawford, who is 33, 34 years of age, he's starting to leave out of his prime years and going to his latter years. The time is now to make this big fight happen. Get in there, fight Errol the Truth Spence, come out with a victory, and then from there on going forward, you will be the A side in each and every one of your fights thereafter. after. And I'm also pretty sure that this fight will possibly be a 2-fight deal. There's probably going to be a rematch clause in it on both sides. So we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully this fight can be scheduled to take place somewhere in late spring, early summer of 2022, because neither one of these guys really have an official opponent to match up against. Errol the True Spence wanted to unify again and fight against Yordenis Ugas, but unfortunately, the WBA has Yordenis Ugas going up in a tournament where he's going to have to fight fighters like Stalionis and he's in a tournament with these other two guys that he needs to fight before he can even fight Errol Spence, which makes absolutely no sense, because before he defeated Manny Pacquiao and became the true super WBA champion, he had a deal in play that his next fight would be against Errol the True Spence. WBA is not acknowledging that at all, and they stumped him into this tournament to fight these other guys that are really not even relevant at this point. Okay, so that fight is off of the table for Errol the True Spence. Then you have Keith Thurman, who's trying to campaign for a fight with Bud Crawford, but that has been announced last week that he's taking a somewhat not a tune-up fight, but a stay busy, get back in rhythm type of fight against Mario Barrios, okay, who is moving up from 140 pounds. And as we know, Sean Porter has retired from the sport of boxing. Jerron Boots Ennis is also knocking at the door, but Terence or Errol are not ready to step that way against Ennis. They need to fight each other, and they want to fight each other. So neither one of these guys really have a solid opponent for their next bout. So they need to just go ahead, get negotiations going, and get something signed on the dotted line so y'all can deliver us the fight that has been in the making for the last couple of years. This is a fight that everybody wants to see, and this is a fight that boxing world needs. So this is True Grit Boxing News signing out with another video. Subscribe, like, comment down below so I can continue to bring you this exclusive boxing news. Peace.